in the mail today, and
I
he's
think
like,
we're live, Sue. We're live.
oh, okay. So I won't tell you.
Welcome, all right, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Those that are watching the replay, thank you so much for participating and watching. This is realestatelivenow.com, an awesome Facebook group of real estate professionals that are not a cutthroat. We're here to share, give you ideas, tips, and tricks on what's working for us in our real estate business. And you don't have to be a realtor. You could be a real estate attorney, a termite inspector, a stager, anyone involved in the real estate community. My name is Sonia, and I am in Chicago and founder of this awesome Facebook group, but I can't do it alone. I also have Lance, which is behind the scenes. He's our technical person right now. And we are live with Sue Benson. She is an awesome broker in Naples, Florida. And Lance, sorry, Sue, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Naples. Naples, baby.
Naples, baby. Yes. So Lance is behind the scenes. So I want to do a quick housekeeping for those that are jumping on that are live. If you want to jump on live and ask Sue Pinky a question live, let us know. Let Lance know. He's going to be in the comment section through our Facebook app. And you can just comment and say, hey, I want to ask Sue Pinky a live question, and we can bring you aboard. If not, you can always just comment and ask your question in the comment section, and we will be addressing it live for you if there are any questions. So, to no further ado, Miss Sue Benson, aka the Pink Lady of Real Estate. Woot woot!
Woo woo!
Welcome.
All right. So I apologize if I'm not completely sparkly. I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me if I'm not over the top exciting as always. So it is what it is, right? When you have kids get sick.
Exactly. No worries, Sue. Thank you so much for your time and giving us the opportunity to get to know you and what's working in your business. And let's get started. So why don't you tell us your story? What's your background? How did you get in real estate? Go for it.
Go for it. Okay. All right. So I've been doing real estate probably about 7-8 years now. And I started actually in a small area outside of Tampa, Florida, which is about 3 hours north of where I am now. And it's an area called Hernando. And they have like Brooksville, Spring Hill. So it's about 45 minutes north of Tampa. And when I say it's small, I'm talking like 400 agents. And when I got into real estate, it was that time in which everything had gone down. And my theory was what has gone down will go back up again. So I figured why not learn in the worst period of time when everybody was jumping ship. And my mom looked at me and was like, what the hell are you doing? She was like, I can't believe you're getting into this business now, but I always like to prove people wrong. So that was like, oh, well, let me just show you what I'm doing now. So that said, that was kind of how I started. I had a wonderful partner, Shauna, who was there with me in the beginning. And, we were selling $30,000, as I like to call them, shit shacks. They're good stuff. Crap shacks for those of you who want the dumbed down version. Splitting $30,000 deals is, quite lovely, let me tell you. But that's where we started. Short sales, foreclosures. We started doing foreclosure tours and doing all of those things to kind of build up our recognition. And eventually, because the market was the way it was, we went our separate ways, but she's still my referral partner. She's still one of my bestest friends. So no ill will there. Got to put that out there. But prior to being in real estate, what I call my BC life, which is before children, I was in broadcast journalism. So I worked at the TV station in downtown Tampa. So I did have a flair for the broadcasting side of things. And that's kind of where it led. Was I actually went to, in Tampa, I went to a seminar, and Katie Lance and Chris Smith, I think, were there. And I remember them talking about, and this is 5 years ago, they started talking about video and how, got to do video. And it was like all of a sudden, this light bulb went off, and I'm like, yeah, Sue, I could do that. And I remember I came home and I was like, I'm going to go. And it was like a $55,000 shit shack. And I did a freaking 5 to 7 minute long video on this shit shack. And I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, what it did to that area. Like all of a sudden it was like, well, can she do that? Is this allowed? You know what I mean? It was like all of a sudden, and then it just kind of gravitated from there. I had this thing for Legally Blonde. I really enjoy that movie. And I just kind of thought, Elle Woods was kind of an inspiration. My girlfriend had a gynecological cancer. And so the pink thing kind of came together at that moment. And one of my customers started calling me the Pink Lady. And then it just kind of went from there. So, and now I'm in Naples. How the hell that happened? I don't know. But now I'm here and I'm rebuilding the whole pink thing all over again. So, now I've got to irritate the hell out of people to be like, it's that irritating pink lady again. So
let me ask you, getting feedback?
No, you're good.
Hello? I think I'm getting feedback. There we go. So the fact that you were in broadcasting journalism in the past, has that helped you catapult yourself to where you are at today? Or is that completely opposite of each other? It's so different, because I'm sure it's more like scripted, or, you have to go through a process, or is that?
Well, I think that the first thing is that obviously I like the camera. I mean, I'm not going to be, in denial of that. I love being in front of the camera and being goofy and silly. So at first, though, my videos, like when I go back and I look at them, I kind of laugh, because it really was Reporter Sue. Like, it was like, this is a 3-2, and that means 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,300 square feet, and over here, it was very formalized, and, and it was like just very structured. And even, but, my girlfriend Erica, she still laughs at me, because when I'm doing my countdowns or whatever, I still do the 3, 2, 1, and it's like, that's just part of my background. So in some ways, in a lot of ways, broadcasting has definitely played into it, because I know a lot of people have this fear of being in front of the camera, and it's really just it's just a comfort level. Like, the more you do it, the more you're open to it. And actually, I'll tell a story about broadcasting.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the story, because you guys will hopefully find it very amusing. So back in the day when I was first, I was a producer for another reporter at the time, and we did the consumer stuff where like people write in with their problems and I solved their issues. It was real fun. Getting businesses yelling at you every damn day. It was a problem. So anyway, that was my problem. I saw people's problems. And so then I slowly got into the reporting side of it, and it was things of like, how to be fashionable on a dime, how to have a successful garage sale, things that, people really resonate to more so than, like, oh, there's a fire on 3rd Street kind of thing, And not that that's not important, but I'm just saying, like, it was just one of those things that people resonated with. So the first time I did like a practice one, I wasn't doing it for anybody else but for myself. And I came back and I voiced it and I did the whole thing. And I remember my news director, which in real estate or in broadcasting world is the big boss. And they looked at me and they're like, who voiced this? And I said, well, I did. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what? And they're like, and then they were like, well, and you should always wear a jacket, because I had like sleeveless shirt on. You should always have a jacket on, and then it was like, okay, now, and I've always gone by Sue. I don't go by Susan. It's just an awkward thing for me to say. It like reminds me of like when I'm in trouble, like Susan Ann, like it just,
yeah,
I can't go there. So, so then it was like, well, we need you to change your name to Susan. And so slowly they started, let's go in and practice your voice. Let's go in and do this. And it really messed with me mentally. And so I remember I met with the news director, and he said to me as he was reviewing my stuff, and I've been doing this, and this was like my life aspiration to do this, to be in front of the camera. And I remember he said to me, he looked at me and he goes, Sue, I just don't think you have any pop. And we were in a room which was like, those fishbowl rooms where it has the whole view out over the newsroom. And he's like, you just don't have pop. And I remember, forgive me, I was like 4 or 5 months pregnant. And the worst thing you can ever do in front of a man, let alone your boss, is tear up, right? So I start like tearing up. And he's like, don't take it personally. I have an entire room of mediocre people. Like, that's what he said to me. I have an entire room. And this guy was like a god to me. he had given me this chance, and I was just like, I have no pop. Like, it destroyed me. And, and then after that, that's when I had my son, and I decided to stay home and be with my children, since I had no pop anyway. Who the hell would miss me? And so when it came time for me to remake myself, and start doing these TV things, I thought, there's nobody here to tell me my voice needs to change, or my hair needs to be different, or I need to wear a flippin' jacket. Go screw yourself. It's Florida. It's 900 degrees. I'm not wearing a damn jacket, And, it was just, all of a sudden I could start to embrace who I really was, and I knew who I was. And, now, like, all my friends that are still in broadcasting, they laugh, because it's like, oh, you got no pop, And so I've always said, like, when I get old and I write my book, it's going to be like, so you got no pop, right? So my point is that no matter what you are doing now, it's going to suck. It sucks. It's awkward. You're not going to be, the Katie Lance or the Sonia of, whatever you're doing. But you can't get better if you don't do it. It's just the way it is. And you got to find yourself. And once you find your passion, and if it happens to be pink, all the more power to you, and then you're just like, woohoo, does it make sense?
Absolutely. What took you over that being in, being portrayed as that person that didn't have a pop, to saying, you know what, F you, I'm going to do what I'm going to do? Like, what mind shift happened there? And the reason that I'm asking is because a lot of people are out there, they do want to go live on Snapchat, or they do want to go live on Periscope or Facebook Live, but they just, it has to be perfect, right? It has to be perfect. So what kind of took you over that hump and said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it?
Well, I think for me, my mindset was that I knew what it took to be on the other side of that camera. I already had that idea of being comfortable in front of the camera. But then, like, my thought was, like, I have done something that a majority of the people have not done. So that already gave me the confidence boost. So, for example, like, so how do you change that into, like, you getting comfortable in front of the camera? Well, okay, let's say you're a golfer. Okay, you're really good on the golf course. Like, when I see my husband out on the golf course, his personality goes from being an introvert to being an extrovert. And I'm like, are you drunk? What the hell's going on with you? Like, it's crazy, the way he shifts. But it's because he grew up on the golf course, and that's his comfort zone. So if you're comfortable, you're going to be good. So my suggestion always is, your first live, do it where you're comfortable. So if you're comfortable, like, you're awesome when you're out showing houses, and that's your comfort zone. You know these houses, you know what your buyers are looking for, and you get comfortable there. It's like when you know your name, you don't stutter over it, although I have, but you don't usually stutter. Hi, I'm Sue Benson, the Pink Lady of Real Estate. You know that. So if you're wherever you're comfortable, if you're comfortable being around, 5 kids running around in the background, and that's who you are, then do it there, because that's your comfort zone. And when you're in the comfort zone, then when you're not in your comfort zone, you're going to be more prepared for those moments. And, it's going to be unscripted. So, I always try to do a little bit of research, have some sort of thought process, because that is the reporter, the producer side of me, is to go and look and say, okay, I'm going to go out to this neighborhood tomorrow. And, I need to know, what are the stats? What's the average house price? What do people do in that neighborhood for fun? And if I just have some of those fun facts in my head, and they can be fun, they could be absolutely ridiculously boring, but they're just something that fills that void of space. And you don't have to fill up every single air space time. You can let it pause. Pregnant pauses are very exciting sometimes.
Like now? I had to try the pause thing. And now that we're going back into the content situation, and I know that you did a Facebook Live with us in our group, and you shared some great stuff in terms of businesses and how you reach out to businesses and content, and how you start to do that. So for those that are trying in their respective communities and areas, that are really trying to get out there in the community, how do you go to a business owner and say, hey, I want to feature you? Like, is that all you say? Like, give me an example of how does it?
I have rarely gone to a brick and mortar store, knocked on the door and said, hey, I want to put you on Facebook Live. I have done the majority of my networking via Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever it is. And I guess you might call it, like, I think all of us are in some way or form a stalker of social media in some respect. You have who you follow, and you gotta kind of, and I say pounce, but it's not pounce because but you got to be aware, like when Shula's is having their grand reopening, and there's not 500 messages and 500 likes, and there's just the one that's, like there, you go on there and you're like, oh, I'm so excited for you. Let them see that you're interacting with them, because think of it, if you're on the other side of it, you want the interaction. Like when you put up a post, aren't you excited when you're like, oh my God, somebody just put something on my page, and you're like, what did they say? Is it bad? Like, like you want to make sure, because we've all been there. Like you go because you're like, please don't be some jackass putting something weird up there,
Some troll on there. Yeah.
Right. Some troll out there. Sorry. Troll, jackass, same world. So like I've done the majority of my networking like on Instagram, because Instagram is such a great platform because it is not as busy as Facebook. And so you get a lot more attention when you do comment, because people will go through and like stuff and do the heart. That's worth $1,000. How to stock businesses to feature. Thousands of dollars, huh? Okay. But you go through and, you like, but then, make a comment, and don't go after the places that, you don't like. But for example, tomorrow I'm going out to an area, it's called Ava in the Naples place that we live. And it's one of the fastest moving places. And it was recently featured in, a news article, whatever. Well, all I did was like, when I saw that they were, featured, I said, oh, this is beautiful. I'd love to feature on Pinky Nose Naples sometime. And then they messaged me back, and then and then it's like, boom, now I'm going there tomorrow, and sometimes it doesn't always work out, but you know what? It's better to me than walking into the store and them like, because it just sounds too pitched when you walk into the store. But do I make sure that later on, like in a week or so, do I go by that store? Of course I do, and I go in and I make sure that, the store, like if I'm going to the dog store, like, do I really like this dog store? Like usually I've been in the store before, and that's why I've chosen to follow them. So you just have to kind of stalk your businesses, so to speak, and just interact with them slyly and honestly. And, like I said, don't be, and don't stalk them, like swamp them, stalk them, like every single post is like, I mean, then you're like, oh, you're the freak show, like, no, you've got to be more strategic, as Katie says, be very strategic with your online presence. And you would be surprised, because they're out there doing the same thing that you're doing. Now, if you're trying to get Target's attention, good luck with that. If you're trying to get, mom and pop down the street, because a lot of times they don't know what they're doing anyway, like when it comes to social media. So they're excited for the interaction. Like these businesses around here, they think I'm like the social media queen of all information. Like, and I'm like, holy crap, if you met Katie Lance, you'd probably like pass out. Like, I'm like, I know a lot, but I'm like I feel like I know this much compared to that much, and they know like nothing. So, and that's why they're hiring all these like young people to come out. And while the young people do know the platforms, they may not know the business, and they don't, so there's a, what do they call it? A cognitive dissonance between the two things. And so it's like, so I'm getting in front of those young people. And when you're in front of those young people, those are the people that are going to be buying the house, and they're the ones that are going to be sharing your shit, so to speak. And boom, yeah, then you've got new potential buyers and people that want to talk about you. And, I think it's just a matter of making sure that you're on the right platforms and following the right places and promoting them. Share their shit. Like aren't you excited when somebody shares your stuff? Like it gives you like, where was I? I was at some conference, and they were talking about the fact, oh God, forgive me here. They were talking about the fact that like the lights that go off when you have an orgasm, I know, right? Okay. The lights that go off in your brain are the same lights that go off when you pick up your phone and you see you have like 20 likes on your Facebook stuff. It's the same thing. Like you get so excited over it. So I know Sonia's like, oh my God, what is she talking about? No,
so
seriously.
We have first time on our guest speaker talking about orgasms. I love it.
I'm just saying it was like, like, oh my gosh, like I gotta like, so when people share stuff, you get really excited. So if, make a conscious effort. Like I even have gone so far as to like, because they don't know about Canva, all of us realtors are using Canva, all the time. And so it's like super easy for us to put together something for them. Like I just did one for like downtown because they're looking for volunteers for the Halloween, to put up the Halloween decorations. Right. Well, that's and so all of a sudden she's already shared it on our page. So it's just look for little ways that's not going to take up a huge amount of your time to help them. Because I can't volunteer for them that night. I'm doing something else, but this can help them to find volunteers. The Humane Society, they need help trying to find a car to put the pets around, town to, pick up their pets. Well, boom, there you go. You just help them out. All right. I think my girlfriend Erica's on here because she just said laugh out loud. So I think she's laughing at me over the orgasm comment. So
well, who wouldn't?
Sorry. I wish I could remember where I saw that. It was hilarious.
I guess we'll be all experiencing that if we get 1,000 likes and a couple of shares, huh? Woohoo! I did want to mention
that sexy baby.
Exactly. That's the pink lady of real estate. So Karen did mention, she's saying, Karen Hurst from Miami, you can't stop being you, right? Because we had talked about that previously. Can't stop being you. That's worth $1,000, and how to stock businesses to feature, which you had just mentioned regarding go on their Instagram, go on their Facebook page, and start, stalking them.
Sharing.
Tread lightly with the stalking.
Stalk lightly.
Right? And so now, how has social media changed your business? Like, what platform did you start off on?
Facebook. I started on Facebook, and I was one of the very first, I remember just as an individual, because I was staying at home at time. I remember the Today Show talking about this Facebook thing. And I was like one of my first friends to get on Facebook. And my husband was like I said, anyway, so he gets on Facebook. He's like, why do I care if Julie Fogelman is in Atlanta? Like, why do I care? And I remember I'm like, I care that she's in Atlanta. Like, and so then it became like, I was like the first friend to get on there. Then when my partner and I got into it, I was like, we need a Facebook page. And they weren't really even doing business pages. So we just made our own personal page. Right. And that was, where we first started building it. And then that evolved into Pinky. Now it's Sue Pinky Benson. So, it evolved from what we were originally to that. So Facebook was always my initial platform that I used. But I just adore Snapchat now because it is honestly, that article that they talk about it being positive. I mean, there's no stalkers, who's looking at your stuff, if they're screenshotting your stuff. And think about it. The broke agent, I was thinking about this earlier. Nothing against them. They can do whatever they want, be negative, positive, funny, whatever. Some of their stuff is funny, and we've all been there at the open house where nobody shows up, and, we're thinking we're going to crack open the wine and then kill ourselves with the bottle. So, we've all been there. But that said, could their stuff go over on Snapchat? It would be a much harder transition for them to go onto Snapchat because it is.
Well, they actually are, Sue. They're on Snapchat.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, they're on Snapchat. Well, good. I'm glad to know. How are they doing on Snapchat? Are they
actually, if you watch their snaps, and I think it's 3 guys that are involved with that. There's someone that blogs, there's someone that does their Instagram, there's someone that does their YouTube videos. And I can't remember off the top of his name, but he goes on there and he just, cause they're active real estate agents.
Right.
And he goes on there and talks about, I think it was yesterday, he was talking about how this agent, he was trying to schedule a showing, but he was leaving out of town. So he's like, would you mind showing my client your listing? And he kind of went through the whole story.
Play-by-play kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how
it's not going to convey as quickly as it would on Facebook with one picture and the words and, and like I said, it's nothing against them. I do find their stuff amusing at times, but it's just, they can be very negative, and Snapchat is not an easy place to be negative and be well received at being negative, so that's kind of,
I think what I see with Snapchat with the negativity versus positivity is that you can have a negative story, but then spin it to a positive note,
right?
Positive note. Yeah. So you can turn it around. But yeah, Snapchat is definitely a lot more positive. There's a lot of positive people on there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in terms of the videos, I know you have a lot of YouTube videos too. Now, did you start that back when you jumped on Facebook, or how did that transition go with the YouTube?
Yeah, like with my 7 to 10 minute videos, I it cracks me up because I'm like, oh my God, they were so long. No, the 7 to 10 minute videos, I did start those initially, you know, and you couldn't upload organically to Facebook. So you had to do everything via YouTube link or what have you. So I did have to go to YouTube and then over that way. But obviously, I mean, just in the 5 years that I've been doing the videos, it has evolved so much that, you know, here was the thing is that if you guys don't know who Michael Thorne is, he is a Remax agent out of Canada. And he was really very inspirational with me as far as like, he took one of my videos and the first thing he said is like, it's 7 minutes long. You got to cut this crap down. Like, you know, and I knew that from a news business that you don't go over 2 minutes. Like you go over 2 minutes and you've lost your entire, you know, unless you're like doing a John Benet Ramsey like documentary, you're not going to keep people that long, you know, and it's real estate people. We're not that exciting. So, you know, so it was like, he's like, you got to cut this down. Anyway, he started a boot camp where it's a video boot camp. And he's like, do 30 videos in 30 days and it will bring you a huge amount of audience level. Like, he's like, I did one when I started doing mine. He's like, it was like within 10 days, his wife was like, I'm not going to the grocery store with you anymore because we can't make it out of the ice cream aisle without people saying like, how's real estate, you know? And to me, that was like, wow, that's a huge, well, it's very difficult to, you know, do 30 videos in 30 days. If you don't know how to edit and you don't know how, so for me, I decided like, even with my broadcasting background, when I learned how to edit, it was on the VHS tapes. Okay. So when you guys say that like, oh, well, she has a broadcasting background, she knows how to edit, peeps, I had no clue what the hell was going on here. Like, I was like, seriously, it was overwhelming. It was scary. So I like to challenge people, like my friends that ask me what to do. I tell them, I'm like, go out every day, because every day is content, and do 10 seconds, 15 seconds of a video, not even of yourself. You don't even have to be in the damn thing. Just hold your camera up and get used to, like, if you're at a golf course, show the golf course. There was a reporter many, many years ago, and I can't remember if he was on ABC or whatever, but and maybe you guys will remember this, he did a segment, and it was literally like every person has a story. And he had like a phone book. You remember what those were? Like, they were these big things that people looked up phone numbers in. They were really weird. I mean, everybody just put their phone numbers in there. Who the hell does that? So, you know, like, so he would literally go, like, he would throw a pin at the map of the United States, and he would go wherever he landed. So if he landed
like a Where's Waldo type of thing?
Right. He would like throw this, you know, what do you call those?
A pin? A thumbtack? A thumb?
No, you know, a dart. He would throw the dart and at the map of the United States, and then he would go to that town that it landed on. So if it landed in like Spring Hill, Florida, which is, you know, the middle of nowhere, he would go there, and then he would get to the phone book, and he literally would go, and he would like point, and then he'd call up these people, which, having been in the TV news business, everybody wants to be on TV until the camera gets there, and then they're like, I don't want to be on TV, you know? And it's like, thank you for helping me with this. I really appreciate it. But anyway, he would get these people somehow to go on, and he literally would find the story of their life. Like, so what was it that, you know, made them? And so I tell you this story because it's content. Every day you have content. So don't tell me you don't have anything going on in your life, because you've got something. I guarantee you've got something that you can use. You know, like my girlfriend's she's in mortgages, and she's always, and I'm like, she was telling me today about, what was it? It was like disaster, like Clearwater's been declared a disaster zone after the last storm went through. And I'm like, what do you mean Pinellas is a disaster zone? Like, I didn't hear this. And she's like, well, it has to do with the storm that went through. And now they're requiring an appraisal, even though they said they didn't need an appraisal. I'm like, this is all good stuff. Realtors don't, I mean, on an average, that's not something that happens every day. So when it happens to us, we're like, what the heck? You know, how many times have we been sitting there in a closing and we're like, what the hell happened? Like, I never heard of this before. So you just take tiny little snippets of your day and think, you know, people don't realize that this is like something you deal with every day. And when you break it down into small digestible chunks for them, then you have content. And like yesterday, my Snapchat was taking an article that realtor.com had done, and doing it in snaps. And it's like, so if you don't have content, you probably shared somebody else's, just give them props and just be like, well, this is realtor.com. And they say, here's the 9 things you need to know if you're having a home inspection. And, you know, and if you've got a home inspector, props, you're tagging them, you're bringing them into the conversation. What do you think they're going to do the next time they're out and about in town? They'll be like, you know, that crazy pink lady, she put me on Snapchat. And then all of a sudden I had like 3 more realtors wanting to use me. You know, it works, you know, rip off and
it definitely
okay.
it's definitely
Duplicate. But give credit where credit is due. Okay. Give credit where credit is due.
that is so true. Now, how do you like in terms of the amount of content, the amount of videos, do you ever get any negativity in terms of you posting on Facebook and then them say, you know what, that's so annoying, you know, she's posting so many times a day, or she's always posting her videos? Do you get any type of retaliation back and negativity back with that?
Are you trying to tell me something, Sonia?
No. I told you I had to ask a couple of hard questions here.
Okay. So I don't want to offend nobody. I try to be aware of what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So, you know, like even though I have like 2 business, I have a community page, a business page, and then my personal page. Mm-hmm. And then I have Instagram and Snapchat. So I try to always look at each one and say, okay, when was the last time I posted a video? Like I try not to do, like, for example, I released a Pinky Nose Naples 2-minute video on the Blue Mussel, which is a store in town. And I had done the Facebook Live there 3 weeks ago. So that's already been on Facebook 3 weeks ago. So there's a time lapse between the Facebook Live and now the video. And then, you know, I did that on Facebook yesterday and on my business page. Then I shared it to my personal page this morning. And then I go over to Instagram this morning and shared it there. So I try to be, you know, a little spread out. And I really try not to have the same followers. Like if they want to follow me, well, that's their issue, you know. But you know, but you know, you try to have different followers on different platforms so that you're not oversaturating them. But you know what? What is it? Haters gonna hate. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Like, hate is gonna hate. You know what I'm saying? And the play is gonna play. And it's funny to me because there are. I'm not gonna tell. Like you and I've talked a little bit, but you know, I was actually cyberbullied by another realtor, and it was a horrible situation. I mean, he was like putting up innuendos. He was talking about the black being the new pink. I mean, like these were the hashtags he was using. The entire town knew who he was talking about. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he is just a nasty individual that I hate even giving props to, but I feel like I have to tell the story because I know that, you know, we talk about bullying with our kids. Like, oh, go to a principal, go to somebody, go tell somebody. And yet we as adults are living with bullies and nobody wants to say anything because in essence, it does give them power because that's what they want. They want to be recognized as jackasses and whatnot. But I really do feel like I've actually written an article that I'm, you know, wanting to use to get the word out there about these bullies because they are such nasty. I mean, for example, this person put up a picture of his sign on Instagram. His sign with like, you know, red, white, and blue, the whole Remax, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then underneath of it, he's like, to the 3 other realtors that got interviewed, blow me. Like,
wow.
I'll blow you right off the corporate is what I'll do, you know? Like,
tell him, Sue, tell him.
That's pure on negative shit. I don't want to hear that. And yet, you know, but you know what? As much as I'm known for being as the pink lady, he's known as the asshole. So that said, you know, people don't want to stand up to him though. And I don't mean to go off onto a tangent here. So, but when you say they're haters, there's always going to be haters. And as much as I dislike him, I've learned a whole lot about not giving a shit after going through this. And you know, and that's the thing is that you're not going to please everybody. But I can tell you that, like, for example, my aunt who's been in town, she's been doing real estate in Naples for 8 years, and God knows I love her and she's awesome. She does those lovely ads that you put in the newspaper. I don't know if you know what newspaper it is, you know, like those things that you pick up. Sometimes you put 50 cents in the machine and pull them out on Sundays. They have coupons. I know. Does these ads in there for like an open house.
Yeah.
You know, and she pays like $200 for these things, you know. And so these newspapers, she's in them, and she's been here. Well, she's not. I go out to to Fresh Market, and people are like, "Hey, I know you. I've seen you all over Facebook." And I'm like, "So what works better?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the newspaper's really great for grandma and grandpa that are still using it to wrap up their ornaments at Christmas time, but. I mean, so you have to, yeah. And yet I still have to do it in some cases because you have to know your audience, and my audience is still very much print oriented.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing I was going to tell you is you have to know your audience. So yeah, I know that we're kind of, making fun of the newspaper, but yeah, true enough, senior citizen communities, that they don't know what Facebook is, or they don't want to know because they don't want change, right? There's a lot of people that are still, I don't want to deal with change, and they still look at the newspaper, and so there's an audience for that as well. I did also want to ask you now, when you're posting your Facebook Lives, your videos, are you doing that from your personal page versus business page? I know there's been a lot of controversy. Should I do it on my personal? Should I do it on my business page? How are you working that? What's working for you?
What works for me is my personal page, and then I share it to my business page and then boost it as needed from there. But basically what I do, because the business page, I've tried it, it doesn't carry as much as my personal page does. And maybe in the future, if you have 10,000 fans and you're a Kim Kardashian, you probably can do it from your business page and you're going to get all kinds of peeps. But for the most part, it works better from my personal page. And my personal page is public because there's nothing I post that, I feel the need to have to keep that private. So I definitely do it personal and then share it to my business. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on a little bit was what I was talking about with the Pinky Nose Naples is tomorrow is Friday. So I'm going to go and do a live. Well, right. When I do that live, I go about an hour and a half beforehand, and I do a Snapchat series on the behind the scenes of getting ready for it. I do an Insta story. I do some Instagram. And I also take video on my phone. I don't have anything extraordinary exciting of the area that I'm at. So if I'm at a store, I go in, and then I come back and I edit together a version that is now 2 minutes or less, and I put that into YouTube. I don't put my lives into YouTube. Some people do upload but I'm always running out of storage, so I can't save them to my phone. So I do a 2 minute, and then that's what gets shared out on Facebook in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. And then it also, when people come and they go things to do in Naples and they Google it, it comes up on the YouTube, these are things to do in Naples. And so it's just another way to maintain being in front of that audience, and that's what you really want to do is to keep, I went there 3 weeks ago. Here's another way. And it just gives you more stuff to platform with, so.
So you do a lot of repurposing.
Oh, hell yeah. You got to repurpose. You don't repurpose, you forget about it. You're going to kill yourself over that.
So there you have it, guys. Repurpose. Now, I also wanted to ask you, I know you're known as a pink lady of real estate. Now, do you recommend that agents have that, a niche of some sort in order to differentiate themselves? Or what is your recommendation on that?
I think so. I think that everybody should have, you don't have to have I guess I'm Pinky, because I've dumbed down from Pink Lady of Real Estate to Pinky. And, so I do feel like you should have some sort because we all have a passion. So, maybe it's your college nickname that people still know you by, try to embrace that if that's, who you are. I think that in a world I went from a place where there were 400 freaking agents to 4,000 agents. And the other thing was when I joined my office in the 400 agents, I swear to God, every realtor, every woman that is named Susan is in real estate.
Oh, gosh.
I kid you not. In my office alone, there was Susie, there was Sue P, there was Sue Me B, and then there was another Sue. There were 4 freaking Sues in my office alone. I'm like, how are they going to call up and say, because half the time they don't remember your name anyway. I have a hard time remembering buyers' names. You know what I mean? When I'm out with them, I'm I have to do these games in my head where I'm what is their name? You know what I mean? Because I can remember their birthday and I can remember where they're from, but names just you know. And so, you know, I thought I have to do something to differentiate myself from them. So, you know, I do feel that you should have, like, whether you're C. Sonia or you're you're Pink Lady, or, you know, you're the lady lender. Erica, if you're hearing this, the lady lender. I'm trying to get her to use that tag.
Wow.
But no, I do feel like you have to, you know, it is a very busy world out there, and especially in the social media, that if you're not doing something to make you the sore thumb, you know, and not do it in a negative way. So just FYI. But like, I have to show I'm very excited about these. I was showing them to Sonia before we went on, but like, can you see these? I'm so excited. I got matches.
They're matches.
Little matches. You know, I'm like, I'm so excited. And it was so funny when I was ordering them, everybody's like, oh my God, you're endorsing smoking. I'm like, I'm not endorsing smoking. I'm like, I'm not getting cigarettes. I'm like, they're matches, people. You go to Vegas and they give them out everywhere. I'm like, everybody loves matches.
Haters gonna hate.
Oh, well, I have to tell you, my husband, who God knows I love him. He's always the one that's like, because as much as I'm like this, he is like behind me, hiding, like, please don't say my name. And so now he's probably like, oh my God, she's talking about me. He always is Mr. like, he's my Mr. Negative about things. Like, so he's come today and he opens the box and he's like, I think this is the best thing you've ever done.
Wow. Really?
It's like, you know, like, damn, I only got 100. I just wanted to see how they did. But here's a tip. Know your audience. Okay. So while I do not endorse smoking, and I do think it's a horrible habit and it's nasty and I'm allergic to it, the audience that is coming for our season, because our season starts in October and goes to April, they are very European. Guess what they do in Europe? They smoke. Okay. Apparently they haven't gotten the warning that, you know, shouldn't be smoking. So when they're walking around Fifth Avenue, they're going to need some matches. So, you know, I just figure, you know, do I expect anybody to be like, hey, I need a realtor, give me your matches, let me call her? Like, no. You know, like, don't be stupid here, people. Like, nothing you do is going to be instantaneous, you know. But you have to realize, too, that, like, I think we talked about this, that there is, what, in your lifetime, on average, a person buys a house 3 times. 3 times. So if they're, in 3 times, they're going to buy a house, on average. So do you think that they're all just going to, like, oh, he has an Instagram page about real estate? Oh, my God, I'm so excited. I just want to go follow him. Like, really? Like, get the hell out of here. Nobody's, you know, like, they might follow you while they're looking for a house, but then afterwards they're gonna be like, I don't want it, you know. So you have to try and, like, come up with other things to, like, keep them interested in you. And then you know, it's the Gary Vaynerchuk, like, jab, 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 right hook, so that, like, jab, oh, here's what's going on this weekend, jab, here's a store to go see, jab, you know, are you going to go do this, you know, Circus des Soleil's in town. Did I say that right? I don't even know. But they are in town, just, you know, and, you know, and then all of a sudden, right hook, hey, I'm selling houses. Anybody got a house to sell? And so it's just that kind of momentum. Am I just babbling now at this point?
No, you're good. Now, since you brought that up, are you staying in touch with your past clients? I know that you moved from Tampa to Naples, so you might not have that established past clientele. But
no, I don't have a past clientele here. So and that's what's really funny, is that it's like, you know, I'm an experienced realtor in a market which I, you know, have to learn all over again. So, you know, and I mean, so I don't have business like pouring in. So yeah, I do have downtime. But here's the thing. Most markets have a downtime. Like, you're going to be coming into a downtime because you're coming into winter. Right? I mean, it's not, so that's when you have to, like, say, okay, so I don't have appointments today. What can I do that's going to generate me business for the spring? You know, what can I do to stay in front of these people until spring, you know? And it feels weird because a lot of times, even, like I said, Mr. Negative over there, sometimes he'll be like, what do you mean? You just have to go on the computer. I'm like, I'm doing shit. Like, go away. Like, you know, I mean.
I like that one. Just go on the computer and you'll get a ton of leads.
Like, you know, he just wants me to, like, hand out matches, and they'd be like, oh, let's go buy a house, you know, like, so, but he lives in corporate America where, you know, that's what happens, you know, like, oh, we have, you know, a sweater on sale, come buy the damn thing. And that's, you know, if only that works with houses.
Yeah, right. Tell me about it. So is that what you would recommend to a new agent that's obviously doesn't have a book of business or anything like that. They just got started. Maybe they're 3 months in, 4 months in, to just get out there and show their community? What recommendations would you have for new agents?
I mean, I get and my friends will laugh at me because I seriously do. I get very manic and I get very excited when people tell me that stuff. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So like my girlfriend, no, I'm not kidding. My girlfriend, her name is Susie. I kid you not. She was asking me just the other day, and she's a very well-established realtor. And she's like, I'm in this neighborhood and I just don't know what to do. And everybody knows me when I come into the neighborhood. I'm like, and what are you doing? She's like, nothing. I'm like, huh? She's like, I'm thinking about doing a postcard. Wow. Really?
Okay.
That's exciting. Okay. But my point is, like, wherever you are, whether it's just the neighborhood, the damn street you walk on, like there's a horse that goes down my street. Like, I'm dying to get that shit on video. I haven't been able to hit it yet. Like, it's like when I get that, it's going to be all over. Like, there's a horse on my street, But so know the little area, start where you're at. And it's funny because sometimes I get shy in weird situations. And so it helps me to be like, okay, I want to know, what did I say? It's called Ave Maria, right? I'm saying it right. Ave Maria.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it right. I'm going there tomorrow. But I wouldn't normally go there because it's like, a little ways away. So, I wouldn't normally go there, but it gives me a reason to go. It makes me get out of my comfort zone because I have to do this for work. I have to go there for work. And it works that way too, because also the Seminole Casino is out there. So I have to go there for work. I have to experience this. I went on a damn trolley ride all by myself just because I'm like, people come to the town. How can I tell them to go on a trolley ride? Like, I need to know what this guy does on the trolley ride. And do you know I knew more facts than the trolley ride guy? I was giving him all facts.
Boom, boom, baby.
I was like, I only lived here a year, sweet pea. So.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Welcome.
Hello. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sue. How are you?
Good. He's hard to
hear. Good. We can barely hear you. We can barely hear you.
It might be my earphones.
Maybe.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yes.
That's better.
All right. Cool. My earbuds are screwy.
I can't tell if we have other people watching. I feel like it's just me and Sonia talking.
No, there's people watching.
Oh, good. Okay.
There's people watching. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a question. It's more about like how often do you post your content? So for example, you do a video, like I know you do your Pinky Nose Maple. I know you do that just about every week or so. But like overall, like how often would you suggest posting a video and sharing that out and all that? I know you touched on that a little bit.
I think that you definitely, like with Instagram, I always post first thing in the morning because people go there first thing in the morning. Like I tend to, or last thing at night, like right around now, I find is a good time to post on Instagram. That's when people are like either going to bed or they're just waking up and they're having their coffee. So Instagram visually, that place is where they tend to go because it's not as, I think, loud as Facebook coming in, like you go in and you're like after the debate, was everybody like, oh my God, I don't want to go on my Facebook feed. Like, I don't want to see these people. Like, I mean, we don't want to go there. So, so Instagram, I try to post first thing in the morning. Facebook, if it's my business page, or my community page, I usually have those plotted out because I'll have a calendar of like the events of what's going on around town. So I will have those kind of plotted out anyway, but, I might share something throughout the day. But as far as my video goes, I try not to oversaturate my actual personal page. Like if you went on to Sue Pinky Benson, I think I posted today for this, but it's because I have so much other content. So you have to be aware of how much other content you have going on Facebook, because while I didn't post there, I know that my video was on my business page. So, and I know there's going to be a crossover. So like you said, I don't want to annoy the shit out of people and block me.
Right. I
try not to. Try really hard. But I know there's people out there that find me annoying.
Hard to believe.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Sue.
Hey, Mark. Thank you. Ma.
Hey,
Love
Isaac,
you.
what's going on?
Oh, just busy as usual. And I'm not in my car anymore. So I got to say, I logged on my phone, and all I heard was orgasm. And I'm like, am I on the right channel? And I'm like, Is this a yawn? All right. Leave it to Sue Pinky Benson. All right.
We want to
I don't
make
even have any wine.
It may have been, you know what? I think it was when I was out in Vegas for the Remax conference. I think that's where I heard it at one of the social media like group things where they were talking about it's you know, your certain parts of your brains light up over certain experiences. And it is said that when we get likes on our posts, it does the same thing. So I will leave it at that. If you want to do the research, that's up to you.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. You start researching that stuff, then you just get stuff on your computer you don't want, right?
Right. Right.
I know you've been doing video for a long time, and I thank you and I appreciate your time hopping on here and sharing all your wisdom with us, essentially. And so, and I didn't catch it. Do you do a lot of YouTube stuff also?
I do a lot of YouTube stuff, and that's where I go to put my actual videos. So like, I mean, I have not gotten like a huge amount of like, I think that like one of my videos was on Inman. And so like some of those have gotten like over 1,000 views or anything like that. But like, I don't get a huge amount of people like going on my like Gary Vee and like, oh, I got to watch my daily Gary Vee and get on here. You know, like I don't have that, but I'm actually very curious as to how it's going to resonate as we go into season, because I have been working so hard in the off season producing these videos to put up with the SEO of what to do in Naples, things to do in Naples. And then with the, you know, with them starting to research, I'm hoping that it's going to generate more views on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I know the YouTube live stuff is going to be coming up also. And I think could be a huge thing for all of us for the SEO purposes, you know, with going live on that. So it's just going to be interesting to see how that's all going to play out. You know, obviously respecting the platform is so huge on every single channel. I think, you know, you can overstep your boundaries on each channel. And so it'll be interesting to see how that one is actually going to play out with the whole live streaming thing. And there's new live streaming things coming up all the time. So.
Yeah, I think that the bottom line is that you have to start getting comfortable in front of the camera. And, you know, one of the things is, I mean, you hear it all the time, is that people are like, well, I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look. And then you're like, well, wait, you're going to look and sound that way anyway when they meet you. Here's the thing that I think is the problem. And men, just shut your ears. Doesn't have a damn thing to do with you, because you can put on a polo t-shirt and look just the same. Sonia, you know what I'm going to say, isn't it? You got to have the makeup on and the hair's done, because if you don't, every freaking person out there going to judge you. They're going to be like, that girl don't look good today. What did she do last night? You know, I mean, and that's, and you're like, what the fudge, man? I just didn't put the concealer on. Like, if I don't have my concealer on, like, I have hereditary dark eyes. Like, I look like the crypt keeper, okay? I am a person that has to have makeup on, and I have to have my hair done. And if I don't, then people be like, oh, that girl don't look good. She, you know, and that's why it is so hard to, you know, do it for women, you know, because there is a certain pressure. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I couldn't do a live without a bra on. You guys would be like, oh my God, the distraction, right? Like, it's just, men can do a lot of things that women can't when it comes to live video. So it's very simple in my world for them. So when men say that they're not comfortable with the way they look or with the way they sound, oh, get over yourselves. Like, you do not have to put on, you know, eyeliner and, you know, all the rigmarole that goes into it. So get over yourselves. That's what I say to the men. But the women, there is a challenge, because there are days where, like, you know, I'll be like, I do not want to get pinked up today. Like, my girlfriend said to me this morning, she's like, why are you getting so pinked up so early in the day? I'm like, I gotta do videos. Like, cause I do bomb. Like, you know, you have to do bomb videos to your customers. And, you know, like, if I'm like the crypt keeper, maybe they would call me if I was like, oh, she looks bad, I better call her, make sure she's okay. You know, like,
We do have one quick question also from Jennifer Sue. She's asking, what posts do you decide to boost and why?
Oh God. Boosting is like, I'm still playing with what to boost, I don't know that there is any answer to that, because even just within platforms, things are just so crazy different. Like, I could put up a picture on Instagram of a dirty front door and it does phenomenal, like 100 likes. People are like, oh, I hate that front door, it's so hideous. I could put it on Facebook and it's like crickets. What the hell is she putting a door on for? Like, so it is very tough to know what to boost and what not to boost. I do try to boost things like if it's short term, because I'm going to be completely honest with you. I do not, I may live in Naples, but I do not have the budget of the people that live in Naples. Okay. There are realtors here like closing it down. All right. And I'm not there yet, knock on wood. I will be hopefully one day, but so I have to be on a budget and I have to watch what I'm spending my boost on. So I have to be very conscious of what I'm boosting and stay within my budget monthly. And Sonia and I have actually talked about it, like, cause I'm like, I'm not getting the return that I should be. And it really is, it's like, okay, do I want to put all my money into, trying this, or do I want to try little chunks of like boosting, like, oh, I'm going to be at this location, or, I'm going to be doing it's a very hard, and you have to play with it. And honestly, I can't tell you, because it's like, it's, I don't know, Sonia.
Yeah. So far, what's been like the best one from the ones that you have boosted? What has resonated with your audience on Facebook?
On Facebook, what would be the most that benefited? Any of the Pinky Nose Naples, I do. Like the most recent one was a hotel I did. And you would think like people see hotels, they can go on hotels.com, they can, whatever. But what really worked was when I was there, they gave me like a stack of like $25 gift credits for the restaurant there. And they're like, oh, give these to your customers like at closings and stuff. So then I'm like, hey, why don't I just give them out if they share the video? And hoy caramba, like that did it. Like, so now I tell them, I'm like, if you want to do a gift card giveaway, you'll do better. Like it'll bring more awareness. People will share it out more. So I would say that that's the biggest thing I've learned so far, with boosting combined with some kind of giveaway where they tag you and then you can invite them. Bye, baby. That's the best way to do it, but yeah, I mean, those do really well. But as far as I'm trying to think of like what other videos might, I don't know. I think that Pinky Nose Naples are probably the best ones. That the only other one that did really, really well, and I did put more money into it, was the professional, if you've seen my page, my professional Pinky Nose Naples one, where I've hired them to come out and I'm like in a kayak and I'm got a fishing pole and I'm doing all kinds of things that I don't normally do. No, I don't fish, just so you know. That's all fake. But I do live, that's my aunt's house, so it was all good because I was pretending that I might fish one day. So I have fished in the past, but just not in that particular moment. But, but that one, I put like, money into that one to get it out there when I was first here. And that one got like 26,000 views. I mean, it did really well. So it is worth the money in certain situations to go and have the $1,000 professional video made so that you can, because you can chop that up into other chunks to repurpose. I feel like I've talked too much.
No, you're good. But we are at the top of the hour. We got 2 more minutes to 8 o'clock. And I don't want to forget on where we can find you, Sue. Like, what is your preferred platform right now? And where, what are your handles? Where can we find you if we need to get a hold of you or get more tips and tricks?
Get a hold of me? Yeah, like, you can find me at Pinky Nose Naples, which is my community page on Facebook. And then I have Sue Pinky Benson, which is my actual personal page. And then on Instagram, it's Pinky Nose Naples. And Snapchat is weird because it's Pinky Nose Naples, but it's actually the username, right? So it's like Sue Benson Remax, which I would never have done had I known that was going to be like on my gravestone at the end of the day. Like I didn't, like Sue Benson Remax. Beats me. I don't know. I know you can't change it. Pisses me off.
I know you can't. Eventually, hopefully that'll change. And I know, these platforms are always going through several changes and updates and all that. So I'm sure eventually you will be able to.
Yeah. But you know what? My biggest challenge to everybody out there that's watching this, stayed with me and like has had enough of the pink, is that if you want to do videos and you want to do the video marketing, take out your freaking phone, and here's your challenge. Next week, go out every day, do 10 to 15 seconds of whatever the hell's, I don't care what it is. Okay, well, I do care what it is, but, try and keep it like, PC here. But you know, put it on your page, tag me. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what you guys are doing to try and create that content. And then you'll find that you have apps that you can take those videos to, and you can add your website, and you can add, you know, little things that'll make a big difference. And then all of a sudden you will see, like, even if you don't do 30 videos in 30 days, you will start to realize, like, oh, you're that crazy golf guy. I don't know why I'm on golf tonight, but that's what I'm on.
That's fantastic. No, we really appreciate your time. It is a topic.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And for those that are out there, we're continuing to do this every single Thursday. Next guest speaker is Kelly Mirabella, and she will be on here next week. She is awesome as well and can give you tons of tips on Facebook advertisement.
Oh,
so
good.
that is a must-see for next week, guys. We got to watch that. You got to watch that. So thank you, Sue. You guys have a great night. Anything else you want to add, Sue?
No, I think it's a cold medicine that brought up that orgasm stuff. I'm sorry.
That was the best part. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.
See you later.
See you later.